Of course they don't have a humanitarian bone in their bodies. They absolutely don't care. And the release of 13 women and children is obviously an effort to get women and children out of the hands of Hamas, knowing the atrocities that they committed to women and children and the elderly and grandmothers and families in front of each other. First of all, talk about the numbers between 50 hostages being released compared to the 150 Palestinian prisoners that will be swapped in exchange. Obviously a bad deal for Israel, but the pressure, of course, was on by families who wanted their loved ones home safely.
Yeah, Julie, that's the concern here is, of course, the delay tactic, as Ambassador Bolton there mentioned. This is just to string things out, make it take longer. And of course, Hamas will take advantage of these gaps in time to do what terrorists do best, which is prepare more terrorist activity, whether it be in Israel or in Gaza. They're going to use this to their advantage somehow. They could care less about the humanitarian aspect of this. And this just goes back to why you don't negotiate with terrorists. And this assumes right now that they're even going to keep their end of the bargain in the first place, which right now I'd be cautious with that at all.
And that's why they're going to spread this out over a 4-day period. So they're going to start with 13 women and children starting tomorrow. The truce begins at midnight. 9 a.m. Eastern time is when those hostages will be released. And then over the course of 4 days, a couple dozen here and there until they reach that number 50. There are still 240, though, let's not forget, hostages that are being held. And that's not counting those that could have potentially been killed in capture. So, talk to me about how Israel is going to make sure that Hamas holds up their end of the bargain, especially knowing the treatment of these hostages as we speak.
Well, first, I guess I would be skeptical about Hamas's desire to even hold up their end of the bargain. And Israel has limited capability to enforce that part of it. In fact, the only thing they can truly continue to do is continue military operations with the desire to find those hostages and to free them themselves. And there's another part of this bargain, too, that kind of shows you where Hamas is coming from, which is they don't want senior leadership of Hamas being targeted during any of these ceasefires either, especially after Mossad has been told to target all senior Hamas level leadership, regardless of what's going on. So Hamas is doing this out of self-interest, not humanitarian interest. I think it's best for Israel to regain the initiative and continue this operation the way they see best to meet their strategic objectives.
Right. Today's Iran's foreign minister met with the leader of Hezbollah and Hamas and Islamic Jihad officials in Lebanon. Iran, as we know, is the main state sponsor of the 3 terror groups. So their involvement is extremely troubling and extremely threatening to Israel. It is their second meeting since October 7th, by the way, and that is obviously only stoking fears of a wider war, something that the Defense Department says they're aiming to avoid. Listen.
Be pulled into a regional conflict, both from attacks on our troops and also from what is happening in Israel. We are hitting them where it hurts. We are hitting weapons storage facilities and completely destroying them, so they're no longer of use. But we do want to see this conflict contained. Of course, we will always choose to respond at a time and place of our choosing.
How do you contain this conflict with Iran's dirty hands in the mix?
Well, that's difficult, to say the least. I mean, this should have been contained before it even started by continuing with all the different kinds of economic sanctions on Iran in the first place. So going back to it didn't even need to start. But now that we are here, one of the best ways to contain it is to send a message to Iran and other countries around the region that says, at least from the Americans' perspective, if you mess with our people, injure them or kill them in any way, shape, or form, you're going to pay a heavy price. And that message needs to be bold, and it needs to be strong, and it needs to be fast. Right now, what we're doing, bombing empty facilities, is almost fruitless. They'll let us do that all day long, and they won't change anything that they're doing. And the fact that Iran is in Lebanon shows that their hand is continuing to basically make all the decisions on behalf of these what I call mercenary armies.
Yeah. Lieutenant Colonel Darin Gaub, thank you very much. Appreciate it.